Freeze pans can be used to freeze the first row or the first column in our sheet, or several rows and several columns. And this can be useful in several cases. For example, if I want to keep the first row that containing the columns names visible, even if we scroll down in our table or in our data. So in this case, we can use freeze pans to freeze that top row. So to activate the freeze pans options, we first go to view, then freeze pans, and here we have three options. The first one we can use if we want to freeze several rows or several columns. Second one to freeze the top row, and the third to freeze the first column. In our case, we will choose the second one to freeze the top row. And now if we scroll down, we notice that the first row that containing the headers is visible. And to remove the freezing for any freezed columns, we can go to the same menu. Now we have additional option that says unfreeze pans. And to freeze the first column, we go to the same menu, freeze pans, and we choose freeze first column. And now if we scrolled or move to the right, the first column is still visible. Maybe in this case we have only a few columns, so it might not make sense to freeze the first column, but if we have large number of columns and we want to keep the first one visible, we can use freeze first column to do so. And if we want to freeze several rows and several columns, first we select a cell and then apply, go to freeze pans and apply freeze pans, and this will do that, will freeze every rows above this selected cell and every column to the left of that cell. So by selecting this cell and go to freeze pans, we notice that the first row was freezed, and also the first column was freezed also. And as a shortcut, we can use the shortcut for freeze pans, Alt WFR to freeze the top row, WFF to unfreeze the pans, WFC to freeze the first column. And if we unfreeze the pans, the final shortcut for freeze several rows and several columns, as we said earlier, we first select the cell that we want to freeze every rows above it and every columns to the left of it, and then we can press Alt WFF